Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Last Day Gamers, and welcome. So today we're playing a little bit of Star Wars Battlefront 2 Classic. I thought this would be quite a fun thing to do since the new Star Wars Battlefront 2 is coming out this month. Go back to the roots and kind of get a bit of nostalgia and reminisce about this rather old title. Now I remember back at the time when I played this game first, I was still in school. I remember it came out and I thought it was this amazing pick and mix of Star Wars. It's the Star Wars universe, Star Wars weapons and equipment, but combined with an open world battlefield and you can shoot at your friends? What the hell is this? These vehicles, these tanks? They're all from the Star Wars universe. There isn't any dodgy, weird, fake majiggy vehicles floating around. And I rushed home from school every single day, probably for the next few months, to play on this very game. One of my favorite moments, I think this is the best thing to do with this video really, is just talk about some of my favorite moments, try to get some of your favorite moments from Battlefront, is the droideka. Rolling into battle with that thing, deploying, setting up, letting that bubble form around you, and just mowing down innocent clone troopers. There was just something about that, and it's just a moment, a memory every time I think about playing this original Star Wars Battlefront. Since there's so little servers now, we had to go at playing this on a stream 1 or 2 weeks back, and it was laggy, it was clunky, but the core gameplay was there, and it's there to be learned from. And I'm hoping that these future Battlefront titles go back and they take a little bit of a note from games in the past and how they played, and come to the understanding that a little bit of an element of clunkiness adds to the gameplay. Well, moving on to some of my other favourite moments. Now, one of my favourite things was to do in starfighter battles when you'd go up into space is to take off in your ship and then go and fly, land in the enemy hangar, cause absolute mayhem with spawning players, get in an enemy ship, take off, and confuse everyone how that you've ended up in a TIE fighter and you're on the rebel team. And then there was also the Ewoks. Oh my god, these guys were hilarious. They running around, throwing grenades left, right and centre. In some cases, they ran straight past the enemy. And if you were the Empire, just good luck trying to hit one of these things, because these tiny things did combat rolls, swivel around on the point, and they were almost impossible to take out. But when you did hit them, you kind of felt bad because they kind of make a squealing, horrible little noise, especially when you crush one and you're a TST or whatever you're running at the game at that quiet moment in time. But that's what made it really quite amazing. All these miniature battles going on this large battlefield. The small engagement between just two of you at this point, maybe you're chasing a guy on a speeder and he's on a speeder, but you speed past some other guys who are having a firefight, and there was all this immersion of fighting going on around you. It wasn't a set piece, it was just other players within little battles within the game itself, and that's what I really felt made this game so strong, where as they limit the number of players on the servers in these more later Battlefront games, you can kind of feel that the immersion around you has to be kind of made with cinematicness rather than just players going absolutely crazy. But I do have high hopes for the later Battlefront games, especially this next generation, the one that's coming out in November. I slated it a little bit in the beta because I just hoped more from it. But I should have sat down and gone, hang on, you're not going to beat and reminisce their memories from the past, especially when a game first breaks entry into that genre and kind of pushes everything to a side. It's a mind-blowing experience, just like in Call of Duty. When Call of Duty 4 came out, it did something new. Star Wars Battlefront did something new, and that's why I always feel like the original will be extremely close to my heart. Anyway, I'd like to hear about your favourite Battlefront moments. Could be modern, could be in the past, could be a little bit of a mini action part that you did, or maybe just a moment that you remember from a classic game. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.